So what I've noticed is our relationship to rejection and failure is actually our relationship to our own personal development to a very large degree. And so many of us are are like reach around gropey partners. Gropey reach around partners with failure. I would call rejection maybe part of failure. But sometimes the boundaries actually get blurred between failure and success. For example, the guy that was developing the sticky note, well, he didn't intend to develop a sticky note. What he did is he tried to invent some kind of glue that would create this eternal stuckness, and he wanted it to bind things forever. Well, what happened is he failed. He wasn't able to produce that kind of glue. But when he put it on a piece of paper and he stuck it to things, he realized it was really valuable. I believe he became a millionaire really quick, and he turned that failure into a success. So it's, in my mind, it's a matter of how we actually frame something. And my belief is that whatever state we put ourselves into determines the information that will be available to us. And if we look at things from the state of disappointment and failure and rejection and look through the lens of fear and embrace fear as something to live by, if we create our lives around fear, we create a lifestyle out of fear, a life out of fear, that is going to severely limit and handicap the joy, creativity, and basically all of a person, potentially. But if we create a life out of something else, call it fearlessness, call it courage, call it relentless pursuit of joy, call it whatever you want. Well, then we're developing a different framework. And we choose what kind of framework we can develop. And back to that notion of failure and success, I've noticed that the people that are the most successful in whatever it is, those people are also the biggest failures, which means they have failed the most times. But they're relentless, they're fearless, they move forward. They just keep going. They don't allow that to stop them. And they continually use their failures as a way to adjust their approach and become more powerful. More of what they need is then used to achieve the results they want to achieve. That's the basic thing that I've been picking up on from some of the world's most successful people. Lately I've been meeting with a lot of millionaires, so it's fascinating. So, becoming gropey, reach around friends with failure, just absolute failure, can bring us up to the next level where we can live and reside better and just be in a better place. So, your relationship to failure and rejection and disappointment and whatever, all that stuff that you don't want. You know, you try to go for one results, but you get the stuff that you don't want. You try to go for some of these results that you want or whatever, and you get other results sometimes. It's just that's what happens in life. Life is a gamble sometimes. So we simply make choices. And those choices can get refined and become better and better and better and better and better through each failure. You can let it develop you and carve you into that person that you want to be, and you can just take a hold of the reins and you can go right to where you want to go through internalizing your failures and rejections appropriately. You can turn failure and rejection into either your worst enemy and let fear carve out your life, or you can turn rejection and failure and fear and disappointment and self-loathing and hatred, you can turn all of this around, and you can make these things your best friend, your best friends, so that they communicate to you. When you fail, you actually choose and process and internalize the information that is going to benefit you, refine you, design you, redesign you into something great. So all of a sudden, these things are feeding you. These things start feeding you and making you stronger. Instead of eating you, these things can feed you if you know how to internalize this information appropriately. There is ways to reprogram yourself for success and to just reprogram pretty much everything about yourself. And learning to draw upon our past, our history, our experience, and take the good things and move forward and be able to command ourselves in certain ways to produce certain states of consciousness so that we're prepared. If I need to be certain about something before I do something, boom, I'm in a state of certainty. I produce it because I have created an anchor in my brain. So I put myself back into that place in which I am certain. You know, like, for example, I could have this one place in my past, say a year ago, that I felt immensely certain, like a 10 out of 10, certainty myself, confidence. And I could just summon the state of confidence and just go forward. Make things happen. And that's how I've been living my life lately. I just came from a business meeting. I did that a whole bunch during the business meeting, and guess what? I'm going to have a lot of success in the near future. It's going to be awesome. And it's because I've been able to put myself and prepare myself in certain ways to approach the future appropriately. And so turning all these things, turning everything into your friend, your ally, things that work with you, make life your friend, make life your best friend. Because if it's not, do you know how many negative emotions you can feel from life? I mean, there are so many people that can make you feel terrible. You can even terrorize yourself. You can be your own worst terrorist. Well, let's eject that and let's live out a better way. Let's live better. And even crave that failure, crave that rejection. And when we crave these things that so many people fear, and that's why they're not going to be successful. That's why 99% of people or whatnot are going to live. They're not even going to get what they really want in life. They're just going to try and get free things their entire life, or they're going to blame everyone else or whatever it is. I mean, seriously, come on. Let's see through the games and see that it starts and ends with us. It starts and ends with me. Let's do this. So I'm going to take failure and rejection, and this is what I do. I make it work with me. I make it my best friend. I make life my best friend. I have romantic evenings with life. I have I have so much intimacy with life. It is ridiculous. And when that happens, I just feel so close to the thing that is important. To all sorts of things that are important. I feel like I know my identity because my identity and anyone's identity is attached to what they feel is important. And it's that sense of importance. For me, a lot of it comes from simply being fearless, being able to do things that most people cannot or will not do. And that is what is going to produce a success for me that most people cannot or will not ever have. Something to think about.